Hello everyone and welcome back to Happy Farm Life. My name is Dr. Sierra Richard and I'm a pharmacist dedicated to helping you live a happier, healthier life. And in today's video I have a special guest, my mom! So for a Mother's Day special, we thought we would answer your guys' questions. You posted several questions on Instagram for us and Facebook as well. So we're just gonna jump right in. Okay, so the first question was, what is the best part about being a mom?
That is a good question. There's lots of good things about being a mom, but just the fact that seeing your kids grow, feeling the love that they give you, and knowing that you've raised two good kids for me is...
So for those of you who don't know, I do have a little brother. He's like not little anymore. He's taller than me. On a totally opposite note, what is the hardest part about being a mom?
Not being able to fix all of your kids' problems and having them, they have to learn on their own sometimes. If they do something wrong, sometimes they have to figure out on their own how to solve this issue, how to prevent it from happening again if it's really bad, which we've never really had that issue.
We were just good kids.
We actually do have very good kids. But just the fact that you cannot fix all of your kids' problems. Sometimes they go through things in their teenage years, something happens, whether they have a bad day at school, and you can't fix that. That's part of life. That's part of what you have to live with, what you have to grow through and go through in order to become the person you are today.
So the next question was, how did you learn the rules of being a parent? Like how not to spoil your kids and those sorts of things?
I just winged it. I mean, each child, there's a totally different personality. There's a totally different way that you have to approach situations with them. Did I spoil you guys? Yeah, but not in like a bad way, I don't think. Others might disagree and I don't care.
I feel like you guys didn't spoil us in the way like you weren't one to like buy us a bunch of things.
No, you had to work for it. I just didn't want to go out and be like spending money all the time. And it's not about the money. I mean, we spoiled you in other ways by taking you on trips and stuff and letting you experience things that, you know, many people don't get to, and I'm blessed that we're able to do that. But we had fun doing it.
As a kid, I didn't recognize how awesome a lot of that was because I was a kid. I didn't know. We just got to travel and stuff, which I feel like very lucky now that we've done that. And so that's something that I want to do in the future because that was something that you guys instilled in us. So you may have spoiled us, quote unquote, but it was not in like buy a bunch of things sort of way. So the next question says, for Buffy, how did you create such an awesome son? And this one was from somebody named Levi Woods. I wonder who that is.
I don't know, but apparently he was asking for a friend. Tell your friend that you're so awesome because look at me. I mean, come on.
I mean,
where can I go? You know, I'm just going to automatically produce awesome kids, you know? I'm going with this. You got an awesome mom and dad, so, you know, I'm going to stick with that answer. Love you.
The next question, a lot of people just wanted you to talk about being a working mom, and so I guess you could talk about how it was different with me versus my brother and kind of what happened with your working mom life.
Well, until you went to kindergarten, I was blessed with being able to stay at home with you, and being a stay-at-home mom was probably my favorite job, honestly. I loved it because the house was clean. The kids were always with me. I was able to cook supper, you know, have clean laundry and have everything done. When I went to work, I think Levi was like 3 at the time. I started working with my husband. We bought his practice, and that was rough because I was having to learn how to juggle from from a stay-at-home mom to getting both kids someplace to be taken care of. You were in school, so that wasn't bad until like summertime and stuff. I had to adjust my hours and stuff. But just learning how to step into the role of like an office manager.
Which was something you'd never done before, right?
I'm a respiratory therapist. Was used to being at the hospital and doing those sort of things. So doing the administrative part, learning all the rules and regulations was a lengthy process. I still learn every day. I mean, even today, you know, especially with everything that's going on, rules change all the time. So trying to stay on top of things is difficult still to this day, and I don't have kids at home. Living in a rural community, there is perks to that because I was able to train under some of the local facilities, let me to come in, talk with the office manager, talk with the billing service services, the coding services and stuff to figure out how we were going to run the practice. And that was approximately 6 months prior to us actually taking over. That was kind of nice that we knew local people and they were willing to help us out. We're talking, this was in 2002. So back then you didn't have like all the internet services and stuff like you do now.
Right.
To find these things, I'm sure Google existed, but I wouldn't have known how to use Google at that time. So
we're from a very rural area, and we had the dial-up internet for a very long time. It was like one of those things where you would I need to check email, and you would click the email and then walk away and
vacuum.
Yeah, you do
wash dishes,
multiple things, and then come back to check the said email that you were looking for,
and then pray that nobody sent you a picture.
Yeah, because that would never open.
Because it would be gonna click on it, I'm going to bed, I'll wake up in the morning to see who sent me a picture.
Yeah.
It really was that bad.
And it's really funny because now you get frustrated if it spools for 5 minutes and you're like, hello?
Yeah.
Times change.
Times have changed.
So another question that we got similar to that on the working mom life side was, how did you balance the career goals working mom life?
My career goal basically was just to survive. To make sure the kids were to every place they were supposed to go. If they had practices or something like that, I had to balance my time to figure out, okay, so I got to go in at a certain time. I would have a checklist of things that absolutely had to be done that day or that week. And I had to have a checklist. That was just my way to survive.
So that's why I like checklists so much.
Probably.
I have a lot of checklists.
Like I said, making sure that everybody was taken care of. And there was times that, we had sandwiches for supper because I had to get everybody to where they are. And the area we live in, there's no fast food. So it's not like I can swing by McDonald's or, swing by someplace and pick up things. Even if I was going to get a pizza at one of the local places, you gotta call, way ahead of time. There's no places where you can walk in and pick up a pepperoni pizza that's already done. You just couldn't.
There's no online ordering, none of that stuff.
No, so there was a lot of thought process into, what meals am I going to make? So, some of them were prepared ahead of time. A lot of crock pot stuff going on.
I like my crock pot still.
That was just the way we had to do it to survive. And I say survive, it's not like we weren't surviving, but
right.
But mentally, physically, emotionally, those are all things that you have to do. You have to prepare yourself. You just can't kind of wing it and be like, okay, hey, let's just go today and let's see what happens. You can't do that. When you work in healthcare, there's certain things that you have to do. There's certain reports that are due at a certain time. And, sometimes kids get sick at school, so that changes all your plans. So you have to rearrange things, or something happens where you're like, uh-oh, they didn't bring the right clothes for gym class or something. Some things you're unprepared for totally, but for the most part, checklist would keep me prepared.
So you've already given a lot of advice for moms, but what is your best advice for new moms?
That's a good one, because it depends on if being a new mom means you have one child, you have two children, or you have more, because each child is different. When I became a new mom, I kind of thought I knew stuff because I had babysit a lot in my teen years and stuff, so I'm kind of like, yeah, I got this. This child changed things. She was a good baby, don't get me wrong, and she was sweet and cuddly and then became colicky, and so that changed how I did things. Sometimes things didn't get done, but I was a stay-at-home mom, so it was just me, her, and my husband, so it was kind of like, whatever works. But I tell people, just wing it. Do whatever it takes to survive. If the baby's sleeping and you've got 3 loads of laundry, just go lay down with the baby if you're exhausted. That laundry's still going to be there no matter what. If your husband has to eat sandwiches, or if you open a can of soup and feed him that when he gets home, or if that's what you eat, or if you eat cup of noodles, whatever. Do what it takes to survive, because sooner or later you're going to get in a routine with your child. You're going to learn about them, who they are, and they're going to get used to you. And then when you add, like with us, there's almost 5 years difference between our children. So Sierra was like a big helper with us when Levi came along.
Sometimes I help too much.
Yeah, there's some few stories there. And I think I was more relaxed, of course, with the second one. And to add to that, where we lived at the time, we lived in a very rural area on a dead-end road. And we had a a nice place. It was very comfortable, but I couldn't just call my mom, who was 5 hours away, and say, Mom, can you come help me? I'm exhausted, My husband's parents were nearby, and they were really good to help out sometimes. But I was also scared to reach out to people because I didn't want to look like I'm that mom, kind of a failure. I don't know what I'm doing sort of thing. So don't be scared to reach out to people and ask questions, because no question is a stupid question, okay? I mean, like, I didn't have preemies, but she was jaundiced when she was born. So that was something I had never really dealt with, even working in the hospital. I mean, yeah, I saw the babies under the lights and stuff, but most of them I didn't take care of in a respiratory sense or cardiac sense.
That wasn't your wheelhouse.
That wasn't my wheelhouse, yeah. So the house that we lived in had these skylights in it, and so she had a pretty tan by the time she was 2 weeks old, because she sunbathed quite a bit to get her bilirubin levels down and stuff. So I just tell you, do what it takes to survive.
Good answer. So the next question, let me give you guys who are watching some background on. So my brother and I both played traveling sports. I played traveling volleyball for several years in high school, and my brother from elementary school was playing soccer, and then he switched over and was playing traveling basketball. And this was on top of playing like our high school teams, but we were doing traveling club sports as well. So we do have a couple questions about that. So the first one was, do you miss traveling sports?
Yes and no. There were nights that basically my husband and I saw each other at work, and then we would tag team. I would take Sierra to volleyball someplace several times a week. Same with Levi. My husband actually coached the soccer, but then when he switched over to basketball, there was times that he would have practices, an hour away from where we lived, and so I would have to, get him something to eat, pick him up from school, get him something to eat and stuff. Same with you. But it was fun because our soccer family was kind of like, really close. When he played with SEMO Bulls, we were really close. When you played volleyball, I became friends, like long-term friends with so many people. Yeah, we're still friends with so many people. And when we get together, I see him out and about, I'm like, we're still like, oh my gosh, how are you? And now seeing like you getting married, and like lots of these kids getting married
and having kids,
yeah,
now.
You're like, wow, I'm getting old. And how did they get to the age where they can be doing that? And so, yeah, I mean, I do miss it, but I don't miss the being gone all the time.
Yeah, we were gone a lot, and especially because that part of being in the rural area, both of us for practices frequently were at least 30 minutes away, usually an hour or over hour away, just practice. And then on top of that, our games, we were having to travel like 2.5, sometimes 3-4 hours away for tournaments on the weekends. Sometimes six. Sometimes 8. We went all the way to Indianapolis. How far was that?
Probably 7 hours.
I was gonna say it was like 7 or 8 hours. So I mean, sometimes we were, just traveling every weekend, every other weekend, and sometimes in different directions. If I had a tournament, my brother had a tournament, totally different states sometimes.
Yeah.
Frequently.
From
my perspective, it was a lot of fun, and I'm glad that we did it, but I can't even imagine what she was doing for half of that.
Surviving.
So, the next question is, along the same traveling sports line, is which state and tournament did you enjoy most when Levi and I played ball?
The national tournaments that you guys did, like in Indianapolis and in Kansas City, were some of my favorite because it was, this was high level, volleyball.
It was crazy to see some of the teams, like especially the older teams because I went there as a younger player, and so seeing some of the students who were getting ready to go play college ball, and some of these girls had, full ride scholarships to play ball, and that's who you were playing next to on a court, was kind of crazy.
Those were some of my favorites with you. With Levi, soccer tournaments, they were all exciting because, we were pretty good, so that was fun.
Okay, they were really good. Let's just be real.
They were really, really good. And then when he went to the basketball tournaments, I missed one of their top tournaments. We were on a trip, and there happened to be a tournament down in Dallas that was scheduled, and they won the whole thing, the whole platinum. They were beating teams from Minnesota, from Texas, all these big teams and stuff, and they won the whole tournament. And so I was super proud of them, and then I was like, I wasn't there. We went to Indianapolis. We won a tournament there, and that was lots of fun, but we have friends in Indianapolis, so that was kind of a bonus thing, getting to visit our friends. Just seeing the kids play at a high level and enjoying what they did was, it was fun. Several tournaments that was just fun.
Okay, so the next question we got was kind of on the same lines of travel, but what is your favorite place in the world?
Well, I don't have an actual favorite place. I have favorite areas. As far as mountains go, Mount Shasta, California area is in Northern California. We have friends there that we've made throughout our traveling, and that's just a beautiful area. There's so much to see and do in that area. So as far as mountains go, I like those areas. Water, we love the ocean. Pacific was a little cold. It was beautiful, but a little cold. Of course, the Gulf, we love. Someone got married there.
It's my favorite.
We took her there when she was like 12 weeks old, and she got married there. And then one of our favorite places is Yellowstone. The wildlife, just the whole area is beautiful. I mean, you do have mountains, you have streams, but you have these geysers. And Dad and I have been able to travel, to the backcountry to see some of the geysers that we didn't do when you all were children. So that would be something fun to do and take you as an adult.
I want to go back for sure. It's my favorite place. And my husband's never experienced it, so I really want to see.
He has no idea what he's getting into.
He has no idea. I'm obsessed with geysers. It's kind of a problem. Okay, so the next question is all about residency. So for those of you who maybe don't know or are new here, I did residency right after I graduated in 2019 in Fort Worth, Texas. It was an extremely difficult program. It was based in pediatrics. I was working over 80 hours a week. I mean, just what you expect, I guess, with residency, very busy lifestyle. But I moved from Missouri to Texas in order to do this. So the first question was, what was the hardest part for you having me in a program that was so vigorous?
Well, the first hardest part was moving you down there.
Oh, yeah.
It was just us two girls. She was on the second floor. It's 100 degrees in Texas. We drove through a major storm with the U-Haul.
Yeah.
There was wrecks on the interstate near Oklahoma City, so we took back roads. And believe it or not, the back roads were beautiful.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do that after 11 hours of driving.
No.
So
with the U-Haul.
With the U-Haul. With her following me and trying to communicate. But just having you away from us when something happened. Like, she ended up getting influenza while she was there.
Which was very ironic because my research project was on the flu shot, and I did get my flu shot, but I was the only resident who got the flu.
So being away from her doing that and her being sick, luckily she didn't get extremely sick, so that was good. But with her not being close and not having friends nearby, you can't just jump in a car and drive 8 hours and go take the chance of getting the flu as well. So just kind of keeping in contact was the main thing. And we were able to do that because she called us whether she was driving to or from work, depending on her hours. So we were able to communicate a lot that way. And I knew she was getting home safe, or she was getting to the facility safe. Getting a call one morning saying, "Mom, I'm okay, but I got rear-ended."
I'm surprised I didn't get rear-ended more than once because those Texas drivers, man,
Texas
they're crazy.
Driving is bad. The one morning that I get a phone call saying, "I have a tree on the nitro."
Yeah, that was day 2 of residency, and I'm like, my program director, I had a meeting with her that morning. I'm like, she's not gonna believe me that there's a tree on my car.
There's pictures.
So I took pictures and I sent her these pictures. I was like, I'm not kidding. There's legitimately a tree on my car.
She had a pretty dress on, trying to get a Bradford pear off of the nitro.
Yes. Thank goodness for the kind soul in my apartment complex who was running that morning and saw me trying to lift a tree off my car by myself, because he helped me get it off so I could go to work. I wasn't that late, but just a little bit.
So things like that was difficult. And then just being there for her to be herself, to learn herself. She was away from her husband, so that was difficult as well. But we made that work. We gave her a surprise visit.
Yeah, I was very surprised.
But he brought you pickles.
He did bring me pickles from Grandma. My grandma she makes such good pickles, and he brought those too. So I guess you kind of already hinted at that, but was it hard maintaining a relationship with me during residency?
No.
I wouldn't think so.
The communication and stuff was always there. The hardest part was not being able to be there, like when she was sick, to go, because I like making chicken and dumplings, taking her my chicken and dumplings, or taking her something of her favorite food, just things like that. The little things that you can't do was kind of hard, but I think we communicate quite well. Good, bad, or otherwise. You know, I think we've always been able to communicate quite well. And so the hardest part was just having you away.
Yeah.
Being so far away. Even, you know, I'm 4 hours away now, but I have family an hour away. I have friends where she lives now. She has friends.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Well, and you also, I'm in Missouri now, so you know where I'm at. You've been in this area before, so like if I talk about needing to do something or go to someplace, you know the city well enough, you can also give advice and help, whereas Fort Worth, you didn't know
Clueless.
anything about it, and I didn't know anything about it. I used a lot of Google.
And that didn't always take us in the best places.
No, it did not. Google needs to work on that and be like, this is a safe route, this is a not safe route.
Lock the doors.
Yeah. For sure. All right, well, that is all of the questions. Thank you, Mom, for answering all the questions from Instagram. And for those of you who are watching, make sure you hit that subscribe button because next week I have another great video for you guys. And while you wait, you can check out the video that's up on your screen right now. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Happy Mother's Day.
Bye.